Start recording. Stop recording. Button.
Hello. Today is February 19th, and it has been an interesting year, 2020, sorry. Been a lot of weird stuff happening. And when it seems that hell breaks loose at the beginning of a year, you see a lot of people come out. There's a lot of news. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. And there's a lot of real bad things happening. There's a lot of preppers, too, on YouTube. Some of them I've even watched and listened to. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm sorry, this is my first time making a video and putting it live on the internet. I'm a little bit nervous about it. But anyway, I think I'm going to change the name of this channel and call it My 2 Cents. I've kept quiet about a lot of what I've seen until now. My name is Alyssa. I'm 43 years old. I was born totally blind. I'm also hearing impaired, quite hearing impaired. I have a lot of medical conditions, but by the grace of God, I live totally on my own, in my own apartment. I have severe kidney disorders, asthma, seizures, and a little bit else. I've looked for a job, but nobody will hire me due to my medical conditions. Hasn't stopped me though. I was told I would not be independent when I was in my late 20s. But my mother raised me to be a strong woman and independent. But anyway, past the rambling about me. I have seen and heard. I say see because I see in my own way, although I am totally blind. I see with my heart, I see with my hands, and I see with my understanding. For me, to see is to understand. To see is to be enlightened. There have been a lot of videos come out lately about being prepared for, as they call it, SHTF, stuff hits the fan or whatever. Even Homeland Security and FEMA says, in case anything happens, you need to be prepared for 3 to 6 months to make it on your own or whatever. And as a result, you see a lot of preppers talk about things you should do to be ready or whatever. And several of them, some have good news on them, some can get into the negative, and some will talk about their faith. But that's neither here nor there. There's a lot of them that are posing as conservatives and say they don't believe in socialism but have an undertone of Fabian socialism, although they would deny it, because they talk about survival of the fittest. I will say they have it in undertones in the way they talk, because they say that it's your own fault if you're not prepped and ready or if you're not prepared. But they don't think about us disabled people or seniors who are alone or disabled and have no family. And I'm not saying this for a poor, pitiful me, because I've always been independent. I don't ask my parents for anything, although they're a little bit too old and can't support me anyway. And anytime I have borrowed anything from my mom, I've paid her back, and vice versa. I have made it on my own by the grace of God throughout my life. I don't ask anybody for anything. I do everything to the best of my ability on my own. I live in an apartment, I pay my bills, and I know that there may come a day, because the government is barely holding it together on their own. There may come a day when I can't get this Social Security check or supplemental security income. There was a comment I heard today on a news site who claimed to be Christians, who made the statement that our main problem will be the anti-preppers and the people that have not prepped. People talk about being pro-life and anti-euthanasia and how conservative they are. And yet, should SHTF, which they talk about a lot of time on their news sites, it's us people who have very little, who do what we can for others, like in charitable organizations such as Lions Club or other organizations, because we have time on our hands because people will not hire us. Well, we didn't prep, so we should just die. That's their point of view. I speak this in love, not in anger at them. But like it or not, even the most conservative has some Fabian socialism in them. So what I'm saying today is, when the country is so divided politically, find a piece of good in everybody and love one another. Don't concentrate on your divisions. Because I could be angry at some of these people right now, but I'm not. There's so much that divides us, but there's so much that brings us together. Are we not all human beings? Are we not all God's children? We are fighting things. We are fighting wars in the Middle East. We are fighting viruses that kill human beings. There are 74 or 75,000 infected human beings, and that is a minimal number in the world right now. That's in China alone. And in China alone, there's over 2,000 dead. I have walked the streets of China back when I could walk. I have loved those precious people. I have listened to children try to get their first words out. I have scraped paint off the walls in Hong Kong at a Christian school back when it was a Christian school, and helped remodel that school. I have loved those people in Hong Kong and China. I have laughed with them. I have cried with them. Are we not all man made in God's image? Do we not have hearts and hands that can love one another and reach out to one another? See, I see the things that divide us. I see the things that divide us. Republicans, Democrats, black, white, Asian, Indian. But I see the things that bring us together too. And the reason is, I don't see with my eyes, I see with my understanding. And thank God I do. Because when you get past what you see, you get to the heart of the matter. And that's deep. The heart of the matter is what's important. I don't want to tell some poor person that's disabled when hell has broken loose in this country or in the world, well, it's your fault. You didn't prep. There's a lot going on right now. There's people hurting right now. Somewhere, there's a person that's gone through so much and left loved ones across the sea and has gone through a quarantine or is going through one right now, and they're going to face a lot because someone's going to resent them because there's a virus in this country. And I want to love that person. I want to love that person in the city limits of Chicago whose brother or sister has been shot by a gang member. I want to love that person. Who a cop shot, whether that cop was right or wrong, that person, maybe their sibling was shot by a cop and they don't understand why that cop shot that person. And that person needs love. There's a lot of injustice in the world. I've faced injustice. I faced injustice because the judge couldn't understand why I didn't go to court and have mediation in the same room with someone that sexually assaulted me. And so I lost the case. But you know what? I had to love my way through it. I had to learn to forgive. There's too much hate in the world. Does that mean I face that person again? No, it did not. But we are made in God's image. And God is not a hater. His hand is ever reaching. His hand is ever reaching, and his heart is ever loving. And right now, I think he looks down on this country with all the division and with all the hating, and he is crying. So to everyone who feels like they don't fit in this country, who feels like they're not understood, I do too. And I ain't much of a singer because I'm blind and almost deaf. But this is my song to you. You're my brother, you're my sister, so take me by the hand. Together we will work till he comes. There's no foe that can defeat us when we're walking side by side. As long as there is love, we will stand.
Stop recording. Button.